Hello YouTube, it's Darth Magnus again, and this time I brought you guys something pretty interesting. Nope, these are not Apple AirPods Pros. Alright guys, so as some of you know, like 30 something of you know, I recently upgraded my AirPods from Gen 2s to Gen 3s, and I hated those. Check out that video down below why I hated them and why I think a lot of you will hate them as well. But after that experience, I decided, let's stop messing around and let's just get some AirPods Pros. A lot of friends have them, a lot of friends like them and recommend them, so I figured let's go ahead and jump onto that. Now, I went onto eBay and I found a lot of listings, usually about 150, 180 for brand new pairs of AirPods Pros. These have been around for a couple years, so they have dropped in price considerably. So I found this seller, said it was brand new. She had them listed for like 100 something, or 150 something dollars. Plus shipping. Her account had good reviews, so I figured, okay, let's go ahead and take that leap. And once I got these in, just to preface, I had some suspicions that they could be fake, just because it's eBay and it's an Apple product, so there is always that risk. So I was very careful in making sure that I wasn't being scammed. Mostly because I wanted to report it right away to eBay so I could get my money back and send these stupid things back. So I went ahead and first thing I did, I obviously unwrapped them, right? And everything looked very good. I mean, this looks like a legitimate Apple product box. The image here of the AirPods Pros they're embossed. Everything looks very premium and very high-end, just like Bluetooth headset that is, originally $200 something, should feel. So everything looked good. Then I went to the Apple warranty website, and this serial number checked out. Has warranty until February of 2022. Okay, great. Looks like I have a good pair, and I got them for a good deal. Okay, great. I opened it up. Packaging all looks legit. All the manuals are there, so I figured everything was good. The product itself was wrapped just like any Apple product would be. Down here, you have the additional ear tips for different sizes, the lightning cable to Type-C. Everything looked legitimate, just like it should if you went down to the Apple store and bought yourself some of these. So I opened them up, and again, everything looked legitimate. This feels real, feels premium, feels just like an Apple product should. I looked for the telltale signs that I found online regarding knockoffs. This didn't fit any of those red flags. The serial number checked out. The fit and finish checked out. Everything looks legit. The device feels real. The serial number's checked out. The serial number is even printed here on the bottom of the lid. And again, that's something that fake AirPods should not have. So I thought, I was in the clear. I got a good deal on these things. I'm good to go. Additionally, there were other things that made me think that these were legitimate AirPods. When you pair AirPods, you get this little animation. Not only that, if you go into the settings of the Bluetooth device, the entire UI is available just like if they were real. You got your noise cancellation, on, off, all that stuff, transparency. You got your stem controls, your ear tip fit test. Everything's here and it works. Your ear detection, spatial audio settings, everything. But most importantly, the serial number is still popping up and it's showing the limited warranty date. Like this, by all intents and purposes, if you pick up your iPhone and you connect these things, and they're real, all this stuff should populate, right? But one thing we're gonna circle back to this later, but you'll see that there, the firmware version is quite old. Okay, so that was one of the things I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, that shouldn't be like that, but whatever. Then if you go into the general and then the bounce, if you go down here, all right, so by all intents and purposes, these right out of the box look, feel, sound real. It would be very weird for a faux pair of AirPods to have a working serial number on the box, a working serial number underneath the lid of the case, a working serial number that you can pull up in the iOS interface. It would be crazy to think that these are fake right out of the box connected to your phone, because none of this stuff should be spoofed. Nobody should be able to replicate that information right under Apple's noses. But that's basically where things just start to fall apart. So let me go ahead and kind of put these on and show you where the wheels start falling off on these things. Okay, so red flag number one. Anybody watching this video has ever used AirPods, you know that as soon as you connect them to one iCloud or Apple, iCloud connected device, it's automatically connected to all your other devices, your Macs, your MacBooks, iPads, everything. As soon as you connect it to one device that is connected to your iCloud account, they all have them available. Okay, and now let me move this over to, let me show you how it behaves once I try to connect to my iPad. Like right now, even though they're connected to my iPhone, they are not available here on my iPad. In fact, if I open up the lid, it says not your AirPods Pros and it wants to connect. So there's something going on with these AirPods where it's able to spoof all this other stuff on the iOS interface, but it cannot get certain information or communicate certain information to the Apple servers. That's why my AirPod is not connected to these things. Right now, it's just behaving like a normal set of Bluetooth headphones, where they just basically have to pair with each individual device. So that was red flag number one. It's just not connecting automatically. That's when I started to think like, okay, something is wrong. Some fuckery is afoot, as I like to say. Red flag number two, certain features of the AirPods Pros, they pretend to be there, but they're not actually there. And let me explain. If you go into the little quick settings here for your AirPods, you have a couple of different controls that you can modify or just completely disable. So you have noise canceling, and then you have the spatialized stereo. I could have sworn that should say spatial audio, but either way. All right, so let's start off with the noise control here. The noise isolation features of the AirPods Pro. Right now, with them in my ear, it's supposed to be in transparency mode, but everything sounds muffled. Nothing is coming through the actual headset. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It shouldn't be like that. Mostly because if I switch it to off, it makes no difference. And it also automatically switches back to whatever you had before. You see that? I'm not doing that. It's not supposed to do that. If you select off, it's supposed to stay off, etc. If I go into actual noise cancellation, again, in my ear, it makes no difference. And then bam, it moves right back to transparency. Why? Because this is a headset that doesn't have that type of technology. And it's trying its best to spoof or to trick iOS into thinking it does, but ultimately it just doesn't. So it just keeps switching back and forth, even though I'm not doing anything. So that was like, oh, that's not good. And then when we move on to spatial audio, fixed and head track make zero difference in terms of the audio, like at all. It just doesn't do anything. In fact, the sound quality in these things is remarkably bad. So much so that they sound worse than my AirPods Gen 2s. So right off the bat, something is not right with these things. They're not behaving like normal AirPods Pros should. And then we move on to the final nail in the coffin, which is there's light, a glow that you can see inside the case, which made me laugh so hard because here's what's interesting about these fake pair of AirPods Pros. They took a lot of care and attention to detail in mimicking all this stuff. You know, the packaging materials, the presentation of the product. It's all very legitimate looking. The serial number printed on the box that matches the serial number on the lid. The way that it's able to interact with iOS and make it think that it's a legitimate product in the actual iOS interface is remarkable. Whoever created these things took a lot of time, effort, and know-how into making somebody believe that they bought a legitimate product right off the bat. Enough to make them, leave whatever shitty store they were bought from. But then they pretty much dropped the ball from there. Obviously, there's certain things that the device cannot do, like the noise cancellation and the spatial audio, because the technology is just not available to them. But either way, they took so much time and attention on everything that dropping or fumbling at the 1 yard line with this glow is incredible to me. And let me go ahead and show you how that looks. Okay, I managed to squeeze my fat ass into my closet, which is the darkest area of my house, just so I can show you guys this. So here in my hand, I have this faux pair of AirPods Pros, and geez, the camera's not cooperating here, but maybe you can still see this. They kind of cheaped out on the materials of the case itself to the point where a lot of these areas are transparent. Can you see this glow around the LED? So here you have the LED, but everything around it right here in this area is glowing, including on the inside of the case. I'm gonna keep opening here. Not sure if you can see that there, but the inside of the case right here is actually glowing, and it's not supposed to do that. Now, for contrast, here I have my new legitimate pair of AirPods Pros that I bought from Costco. There you see a huge difference. You see how there's no glow around the LED? It's just the LED that glows, including on the inside of the case. See that? That was basically the final nail on this fake pair of AirPods Pros coffin. Alrighty, so as you can see, they put a lot of attention to detail into this thing, but they still just fumbled. This is still, at the end of the day, cheap material. That's how they're squeaking by with whatever profit margin they have, is by using cheap materials. There was a large glow here, which is not supposed to happen. Large glow here. So it's thin material that just feels premium, which is kind of remarkable that they were able to do that. Now, let me go ahead and show you guys my actual legitimate pair that I got from Costco. Now that eBay has sided with me and realized that these were fake, I was able to get a legitimate pair directly from Costco, and of course they don't sell bootleg crap, so no worries there. But as soon as I got these in, I started to notice a lot more things wrong with the fake ones. Number one, and I just realized that this morning, the image, I hope you can capture that, or I hope the camera captures that. The image is totally washed out. This is very nice and sharp. The the black is very rich and dark, while this is very faded. So to my untrained eye, when I first got these, I thought that these were legit. You know, it's nice embossing and everything. But no, right off the bat, I started seeing weird stuff, like this discoloration on the image, this kind of bump right here from where the cardboard is folded. The legitimate ones don't have that. In fact, the box is just completely smooth and far more premium than this. You know, right from the get-go, I thought that these were, you know, pretty legit just from the feel of it. But once you put them side by side with a legitimate product, they just can't compete because it's a knockoff at the end of the day. But I still thought that it did a really good job here. I could have been easily fooled if I had not seen a legitimate box, you know, side by side next to it. Now the differences obviously don't end there. The cable itself, I mean, to me it looks identical, but I mean, I think that's pretty much spot on. But I mean, I could kind of take it or leave it there. That's pretty amazing. The ear tips also feel pretty much exactly the same, although I have noticed that the hard portion here, the ear tip, does come off a lot easier on the fake ones. So that's another area where they kind of missed the mark there. And now the AirPods themselves, when you put them side by side, I'm not sure if the camera can capture that, but there is a slight discoloration to the fake ones. There's almost like a slight yellow hue to them. Backside pretty much looks exactly the same, but you start to notice that the font here is very different. It almost looks a little too dark and a little too bold compared to the real ones. This is a little bit more soft and delicate, and I could guess you could say elegant, while these are more just, you know, bam, right there. And then when you open them up, this is another, I have aftermarket ear tips, by the way, that were recommended to me by my buddy Henry. They just grab onto your ear a lot better. So that's why I have those there. But the actual AirPods themselves, it's very hard to see the difference, to be honest. As you can see here, the case, the print is where it's supposed to be, but now I notice that the print is different on this. It's got that e-cycle like markings, and then all the serial numbers on stuff is on the right side, whereas the legitimate product basically have that information flipped, plus it's marked completely different. The font's different. Everything looks better put together here instead of how it is here. But again, to the untrained eye, you open this up and that looks legit. But in real life, in the real world, this is the legitimate one, and you can definitely see a big difference in terms of the information imprinted on the underside of the lid. Now the AirPods themselves, man, they did such a good job with these things. Again, to the untrained eye, you'd think they would be completely identical. The stem controls are right where they should be. The color is pretty much perfect, right on the money there. But again, things start to be a little bit different. The markings on the underside of the AirPods, completely different. These are both the left units, and the fake one has weird stuff on it, while this one is a little bit more elegant and a lot softer. And that's definitely far more reminiscent of what Apple actually does. But other than that, man, it's really hard to tell these apart. I guess the grills on the fake ones, the pores are a little bit bigger and more defined, while the legitimate ones are softer and feel more premium. But either way, if these were sitting on a table side by side, I don't think I could pick out the real ones unless I knew what to look for in the markings. Wow. They did such a good job. It's pretty incredible. It is almost admirable, but unfortunately they just come up too short and you just can't compete against the real thing. So there you have it, boys and girls. How to determine for realsies, a complete guide here on how to determine if your AirPods are legitimate or not. There's lots of things you have to watch out for. Right out of the box, they could look completely real, but you could still end up with a fake one, with a fake set. You just really know how, you have to know where to look. And to summarize it, of course, you need to make sure that the serial number checks out, but you also need to make sure that it can pair with multiple devices with ease. You need to make sure that the product is actually doing what it's supposed to in terms of noise cancellation and spatial audio. And also you need to make sure that there's no weird glow here around the LED. You need to make sure that it's just nice and sharp and it's just that single point of light and nothing else is glowing. Because that's when you'll know that you got yourself a fake set of AirPods. But anyway, thanks for checking out my video, guys. Hopefully it does you some good. Be sure to like, comment, and share this, please. That way people are aware of these really good fakes that are floating around. That way yourself and your family do not get fooled, especially with this upcoming holiday season. I'm sure these people are gonna move a lot of these units because they are very impressive. But don't be fooled, they are fake, and now you know exactly how to tell them apart. So once again, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.